The mood in the Bay is electric tonight. A new engine arriving for the defensive line, a trade rumor that could jolt the locker room, a cryptic signal on social media, and a medical report that explains a lot about the last game. Nothing obvious, nothing cold. This is one of those nights when a single piece can change the entire chessboard. If I lay out everything now, you lose the surprise. So answer me this. Would you trade a starter to add sideline-to-sideline speed on defense? And can the offense absorb that shock? You won't believe what we've got today. So take a seat, hit like, and let's go straight to it. Faithful. Let's start with the kind of move that flips the week's mood. The 49ers went shopping and brought in a young, inexpensive pass rusher with one trait Robert Saleh loves: real versatility to line up inside and outside. You know where this hits. Without Nick Bosa, the pressure evaporated and the defense lost the accelerator that sped up every opposing quarterback's red. Instead of blowing the budget on a high-priced rental, the front office doubled down on value and control. Here's the card turned face up. Keion White arrived from the Patriots in a 2026 pick swap that sends a 6th to New England and brings White, plus a 7th to Santa Clara. Surgical move, no future mortgaged, and a locker room shot in the arm. Why does it matter? Because the profile matches the current philosophy. Add horsepower to the rotation without burning premium draft capital. White, a former second-rounder, has the frame of a classic edge but also slides inside in sub-packages, expanding blitz designs and line games under position coach Chris Kokurek. In 2024, when he had more freedom of alignment, he proved to be a true wild card, logging snaps at all 4 spots and producing particularly well from the interior. Independent reports pointed out that from an inside alignment, he sustained an elite pressure rate for his volume of pass rushes, the exact microscope Saleh uses to hunt matchups on 3rd down. Translate that to Levi's. More disguise, better timing on stunts, and slower reads for the quarterback as guards and centers are forced to sit down on the bull rush. Zoom out to right now. The line has been held together with duct tape since Bosa's injury. Bryce Huff, acquired in the middle of the year to be the 3rd down accelerator, is out with a soft tissue issue. Yetur Gross-Matos is still working back from knee/hamstring. Sam Okwuegbunam and Alfred Collins have had their workloads managed. With the tide of injuries, the shadow of long drives has grown, and the pass rush lost its domino effect on coverage. In that scenario, White arrives with 2 missions: compress the pocket from the interior against quarterbacks who climb the middle, and share the edge load through twist games that free a teammate to hit clean. Is the impact going to be immediate? Probably incremental, not revolutionary. But the sum matters. A cost-controlled contract through 2026, a low acquisition price, and a skill set that stretches the playbook. If the staff reignites his first step pop and the heavy hands he flashed in 2024, especially when playing 3 tech, this defense steals the half-second that turns a completion into a deflection. On a team living on razor-thin margins, half a second is a big deal. And yes, the financial footprint remains tiny, leaving space for one more opportunistic move if the market presents a last-minute bargain. If that first development boosts the front, the next one sets the group chat on fire. A straight swap has been floated outside the building, sideline-to-sideline speed at linebacker for a receiver who lives for 3rd down. The chatter centers on Quincy Williams, an explosive run-game eraser who closes windows in the flat, being shipped to San Francisco for Jawan Jennings, the man behind the nickname 3rd and Jawan, provided Jennings arrives with an extension already sketched out. Is it plausible? Let's break it down. Start with the Jets' perspective. If they're sellers and need a real WR2 to pair with Garrett Wilson, Jennings plugs an immediate hole in their conversion chain. He's physical over the middle, thrives through contact, and owns a legitimate clutch resume. But it only makes sense for New York with a multi-year deal. Otherwise, it's a rental for a roster that's really aimed at 2026. Now, the 49ers lens. The defense has lost gravitational stars, and with Bosa out, any heat-seeking chaser in the second level matters. Williams brings angle discipline, acceleration, and range. Yet the offense has been held together with athletic tape too, with Ricky Pearsall limited by a knee and the rotation shuffled week after week. Trading away the best 3rd down shortener would run against the grain of the current playbook. There's also the emotional price. Jennings is beloved in this building. He doesn't need glamorous numbers to tilt a game. He imposes his will with physical routes, implacable blocking, and contagious energy. Moving that kind of player touches the room's soul, and Kyle Shanahan knows it. The counterpoint from the front office is straightforward. Jennings wants WR2 money, and to date the club hasn't gone there. A trade would end a standoff and free cap space for other needs. People around the team insist nothing is advanced, but noise is still noise and fans hear it. One more timing detail. Williams is on an expiring deal, which pressures New York to seek value now or risk losing him for less in March. Jennings is under control only through season's end, which explains some of the static. Even the deleted Instagram became fuel for conspiracy theories, though internally it's being treated as a non-event in the day-to-day plan. Bottom line, logic exists on both sides, but the 49ers' current injury picture raises the asking price, not lowers it. That brings us to the week's most combustible subplot. When a player disappears from Instagram in a week packed with trade buzz, the algorithm takes care of the rest. Jawan Jennings wiped his profile, and that single act was enough to reignite the extend or trade argument, even after months of calmer language at the podium. What can we say without turning this into a soap opera? In recent pressers, Kyle Shanahan has been blunt. He'd be shocked if Jennings didn't finish the year in red and gold. The front office already tweaked the deal with incentives before week 1 to keep him engaged. So yes, there's ambition and there's pressure, but there's also a bridge. Why does this hit so hard? Because an offense without all of its stars healthy still needs someone to shorten third downs, stabilize drives, and knife through zone in the middle. Jennings is exactly that. Physical through initial contact, excellent timing to sit in windows, and a talent for winning contested catches in tight spaces. Even without glossy numbers in this turbulent stretch, the impact jumps on film. Conversions, flags drawn, and the simple gravity of demanding a safety's attention. In coin flip games, that buys breathing room for Mac Jones and eases protection calls for the offensive line. From the player's angle, the story tracks too. If you followed since camp, you know he pushed for a raise. There was noise, sure, and even that extend me or move me narrative, but nothing ever reached formal request territory, and the team treated it as part of the business. Nuking a social account can be a signal. It can also be a routine reset for an athlete who prefers quiet as the deadline approaches. The staff reads the full context, not the feed. Practically speaking, what should you expect? Until the medical staff returns bodies to the offense, Jennings remains the emergency button on 3rd and 6. If a can't-refuse offer shows up, the conversation changes. But with Pearsall in the rehab lane and the run game oscillating, moving this piece right now would swap one problem for another. The best version of the 49ers, with Saleh setting the defensive tone and the offense pushing back toward balance, needs a receiver who can take a hit and convert critical downs. That job description has a name, and by every public signal so far, he's still in the building. Now to the midweek health check, which arrived exactly as we've learned to read it this season. Crowded, but with telling signals. The expected names remained out. Jake Brendel, hamstring. Bryce Huff, hamstring. Ricky Pearsall, knee, and Yetur Gross-Matos, knee hamstring. The new flags came from 2 players who exited the Texans game. D. Winters with a knee issue and Alfred Collins with a sore shoulder. Both were labeled day-to-day. Not panic, but the kind of yellow light that changes the rotation and demands a plan B for Sunday against the Giants. Start with Winters. The young linebacker had been climbing snap by snap, and with Fred Warner sidelined, his ability to close A-gap creases in the second level became vital. If he can't go, the sketch likely pushes Curtis Robinson into more snaps alongside Tatum Bethune, with Nick Martin ready for specific packages. The staff's message was clear: cautious optimism, dependent on how the knee responds to Friday's limited work. With Collins, the discussion is pure load management. The rookie has been one of the most consistent along the DL, and with the injury tide, resisting the temptation to press him makes sense. If the shoulder asks for a pause, Clelin Ferrell's return on the practice squad becomes an immediate release valve. A scheme veteran who knows the building and can be elevated Saturday to handle base downs and hold the edge, freeing rotation bandwidth for Keon White and the rest of the group. Now the wider frame. With Pearsall still with the trainers and the quarterback on a controlled limitation, the offensive tendency is to protect the ball and nudge the script toward third and manageable. Defensively, the key is finding efficient pressure without hollowing out the second level, hence why Winters' health matters so much. The cherry on top, this Giants offense presents chances if the pocket collapses through the middle. If even one of the dings clears, snap count limited or not, the combination of White entering the rotation and Ferrell as a temporary stopgap could stabilize the trenches long enough for the offense to find rhythm. National updates echoed the same picture. Brock Purdy practiced in limited fashion because of a toe issue, while Brendel, Winters, Collins, Gross-Matos, Huff, and Pearsall did not take part on Wednesday. The trend, unless the trainers see a setback, is for Saturday decisions on Winters and Collins, with Huff still rehabbing the hamstring. On the other sideline, the Giants' own report is crowded. This is a week for smart management, fewer hero ball plays, more coherent execution, clean special teams, and a defense willing to win ugly for a few drives until the rotation can breathe. So breathe, Niner gang. Tonight isn't about empty promises. It's about precise adjustment. Keon White arrives to add real value. The Quincy for Jennings rumor makes noise, but inside the building, the trust in our 3rd and Jawan remains. And the injury sheet points to Saturday calls that could reshape the rotation. Against the Giants, details will decide it. I want to hear from you. Would you pull the trigger on that suggested swap or ride with Jennings to the end? Drop your take right now. Send this video to one more faithful. And before you go, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell because we're back tomorrow from Santa Clara with the full daily update.